Are we live? It looks like we're live. It's telling me we're live. If we're not live, I apologize for not being live, but you can't really hear me apologize for not live. So I'm going to presume that we're live. How's everybody doing? Denver sucks in the chat, please, while we go over a couple of things. First, how about this uptick in sunspots? Pretty quiet today, but this is definitely a ramp up. These Riger cycles of 3 and just about 6 months are so spot on. We were looking at first week of September when it was back in June and July, and here we are. I mean, September's 4 days away, and we've got major sunspots. They'll be directly facing Earth on September 1st. These Riger cycle upticks are, man, I have to, and I'll admit, I was skeptical of them at first. I really was. The data suggests it's very legit. What's up, Grant? Thank you for the teal pair. Anyway, so hold on, wait, we gotta. Okay, ask me anything short form. If it is a beginner level question, I will do my best to answer it quickly and then tell you to do the homework, which is right down there below the video. It's down below every video, every morning news show, every one of the lives, everything. Super chats have to be prioritized. It's just the only way to go with this. This many people watching. If you have questions about the ranch, whether it's the events, booking your stay, or joining the survival community, send us an email through observerranch.com. Jeff Worthen, thank you for the teal pair. And a shout out for goldobservers.com. I really want to express the fact that this documentary is going to be free for everybody to watch because of goldobservers.com. They basically insisted. They're doing up to a 10% match on silver right now. And I got to say, there's still this fraction of you guys who doesn't understand how important it is to stack precious metals. They are, of course, right now an excellent store of value. As things start to degrade, they will probably be far more valuable than any of the fiat that's currently out there. In barter society, they tend to do well. And then even in the disaster, gold is the perfect reflector of electromagnetic radiation, and silver, it releases antimicrobial ions upon contact with blood. If you know anything about living in those kinds of times, infection is terrifying. It's basically the boogeyman hiding around every corner. Silver is magic. Goldobservers.com. They're in the family. They're the reason why everybody is going to get to see the documentary for free. And if you are ignoring gold and silver, I hope it's because you just started prepping and you're trying to get the basics. If you are anywhere intermediate and above, you really should be filling in these gaps when you can. Hamdurf, thank you for that teal pair. Gotta love it. Okay, that was my opening bit. Riger cycle solar uptick. Goldobservers.com. The rest of minutia. All right, what do we have going on today? What questions do we have? Katie, thank you for that teal pair. Have I already addressed the Alaska volcano erupting now? No, but I don't really address volcanoes erupting. There are supposed to be anywhere from 20 to 50 volcanoes erupting at any given time. And that doesn't even include the submarine volcanoes, 10 to 20 times more beneath the ocean. I'll look into what's happening in Alaska, but if it was something considerably significant, I'm pretty sure I would have already taken a look at it. Mr. Alpha, you're sniping people already, huh? Are we looking at a grid down event September 1st? Why would we be looking at a grid down event September 1st? I'm not sure where that's coming from, Judge. Certainly not. Unless something really, really unexpected and major happens, but there's certainly no indication that will happen at this time. OGSIII, thank you for that teal pair. Austin Asbury, thoughts on mag ionosphere on being the firmament? No. And the way that you hear people online attempt to characterize the firmament as if it's like some dome or some shell and space isn't real. No, no, I'm sorry. Just no. Uh, if we're talking more metaphorically and we're not talking about the exact sort of unquestionably disprovable things about what those folks say online, then perhaps. Somebody explained the Riger cycle uptick. Okay, so it's about every 3 months. It seems to reset at some point during sunspot minimum. So once you go down into sunspot minimum, you have to wait for the sun to kick back up again before you can tell when the next Riger cycle period is going to be. They last anywhere from a week to a month. And yeah, so during the 3 to 5 years of sunspot maximum, we usually get, 12 to 20 Riger cycle upticks within a sunspot maximum. We've had about 7 or 8 so far. A couple of them just flopped and didn't really do much of anything, but yeah, I feel like that's the best way to answer that question. All right, we scrolled too far. Did we? Maybe. I have tried to email about the ranch many times with no response. Is there a specific email I need many times with no response? I'm not sure what you're saying. I'm also not sure how you're phrasing it. There are a lot of people who email the ranch, and I don't think they take the time after they type to go back and read what they wrote, because a lot of times it's coming off, yeah. Just be as clear as possible about that, about what you're looking for in that email. CIA special ops question mark. That's not a question. What does solar wind affect? Does it do anything at all? Mabel, first of all, you're going to have to do your homework, okay? And it affects many, many things. It affects the weather. It affects earthquakes. It affects human health. It affects our technology. It affects volcanoes. It affects a lot, most of it through the global electric circuit via energetic particle precipitation through the polar cusp and then equatorward traveling waves, sending that energy crashing towards the tropical region, which is already taking excited particle bombardment due to CME compression of the sunward facing magnetic field, compressing the Van Allen belt electrons down into the upper atmosphere as well. From there, the global electric circuit takes over. I saw somebody say that they booked their stay at the ranch for November 15th. I don't think we have the event tickets for sale yet. You're going to need to do something else in addition to booking your stay there. It's going to be a pretty limited event, and you definitely need to make sure you grab tickets for that. I scrolled past it real quick. Somebody said, they're already planning on coming to the November 15th documentary launch. Please be aware in the next couple of days, we're going to have that event ticket, up there. That is going to be necessary for that event. Overcomer says, thank you for being a part of life for years now. I appreciate your expertise. Oh, what a really nice thing to say. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Schultz report. I just got to say, there's like 4 questions in there, and they're all answered in the homework. All of them. Do I still practice the Phoenix protocol? How often and how long? Once every 2 years. I do not do it very often. Are sunspots just a buildup of ash? No. How quickly and severely does AMOC release collapse affect cold weather? Within months. Just a couple seasons. Undercover Bird, thank you for that teal pair. We Go Together says Demystify Psy wants to have you on their show before the sun goes boom. Yeah, I know Robitaille likes those guys. They're buddies. Grand, thank you for another teal pair. Logan Murphy says just got back from a week of primitive camping in Mount Crested Butte in Colorado. Beautiful and a difficult hike. Got my mother interested in checking out Observer Ranch the next time we come there. Well, that's awesome, Logan. Fantastic. Eternal Winters says, are you sure our sun is going to micronova? Because I thought white dwarfs only micronova. First of all, you didn't think shit. You read that somewhere, okay? And they don't know nova to save their asses. I've gone over this 1,000 times. You really need to do that homework, okay? After the upcoming disaster, how do the new species arise? Is it God creating new creatures? Well, it's radiation for the most part, and severe adaptation via stress. Of what does space dust consist? A lot, actually. I would guess in trace amounts, just about everything. Certainly higher than normal levels of iron, that's for sure. Ask Ben if he's CIA. Dude, if I was CIA, I would not have so many of the problems that I have. Fuck's sake. I wish I was CIA. That would make my life so much easier. Three Eye Atlas, Second Coming of Christ, ? Before pole flip. It's a fucking comet. It's a comet. Jeez, guys. Question, been at MEV 10 threshold for 3 days. Is this typical? At what levels will satellites begin? Oh, I mean, we're way far away from satellites beginning to fail. Yeah. Oh, here we have another ignoramus named Kevin. Rainbow equals no flood. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. And I'm aware of everything you're going to say about what it says in the Bible. You're wrong. Tell me, what was the word back then for the planet Earth? Did they have a concept of the whole planet, the entire world? Yeah. Israel was a world. Egypt was another world. The desert was a world. The Far East was a world. The ocean was a world. The far north was a world. The Mediterranean was a world. God promised not to flood their promised land, their world again, and nothing else. I need some teal pears. I feel myself getting salty. When a micronova happens, does the sun lose or gain mass? Neither. Also, does the event push or nudge the inner planets out further from the sun? It does not. Doug Vogt got that wrong. Everyone remember the science show Nova, sponsored by Carlyle Group? They know what Nova's. Maybe they do. They probably do. My kids love you, Ben. Oh, that's nice. They can't use salt, but think yours is hilarious. Ages 12 and 10. Oh my God, you let 12 and 10-year-old watch this. Goodness gracious. Hey, Ben, I have heard you reference the Earth liquefaction in the past. Can you share a little about the mechanics of that? Yeah, violent earthquakes. Seriously, you could just Google liquefaction. Christ-centered keto, that's a cool name. Thank you for the teal pair. Grand. Same to you. Thank you. Jess says, hey, Ben, is the area of the world around Göbekli Tepe going to take the discharge? And could that be the reason for the halt in excavation and saving it for future generations, perhaps to preserve it? They're probably going to take the flash. The Nova Shell and Cosmic Thunderbolt discharge is probably going to be, on the longitude where you find like the Philippines, Australia, New Zealand, somewhere like that. I think that they have halted the excavation because they realized that everybody was going to find out something that just completely destroyed the narrative of human history. just completely rewrite the concept of ancient cultures and what they knew and the history of the world in general. Don't forget, there's dinosaurs carved into some of those pillars. So I really think that the Halton excavation at Göbekli Tepe is to hide what is true history and probably to safeguard certain pieces of information for certain individuals. There is a 20-foot thick layer of tropical trees, not fossils, frozen beneath the gravel on the northern Banks Island. My grandfather worked for the Canadian Arctic oil exploration in the 60s. I believe that. I absolutely believe that. That comports with what we got out of Project Nanook from Major White's son, Ken. Susie Rose Finlay, Flying Teal Pair, appreciate that very much. Oh, look at that. Partying Hippo. Thank you, Taryn. Appreciate that. Kelly, gotta love that teal pair. Oh, and thanks for your first super chat. I appreciate that. It is possible that instead of Earth shifting back and forth 90 degrees, that it would shift forward and forward and forward. No, because we can tell, looking back really far in time, that it's the same pole. It's not like it's the different pole, and we can tell the difference. So, no, it's back and forth and back and forth. Bud Carlson, what is up, buddy? Thank you for that teal pair. Hear me out. $50 high-resolution pictures of your soft, clean feet. Jesus, I don't even know. I don't even know where to go with something like that. What do you think about certain superhuman abilities arising from this event? A really fun story. I wouldn't spend too much time thinking about that. You've got bigger problems, okay? It's a really nice story, though. Dumpster Diving Dragon, thank you for that teal pair, and it is very good to see you. Do you think radiation suits will be enough to protect you? You don't need to go that far. You don't need to go that far. Don't forget, humans have survived this every 6,000 years. There are certain things you need to be aware of, certain things you need to prepare for, but the Earth doesn't become so tremendously hostile that life can't survive at all. On the Solar Killshot Action Network today, a member asked an interesting question. He asked if the sun accumulates dust from the galactic current sheet. Would Earth not also attract large amount of dust as well? Yes, but we are seeing that. So the amount of dust in Earth's upper atmosphere is 55% higher than it was a century ago. It's already about 30% higher in the corona of the sun, but you got to realize the interplanetary magnetic fields, the sun's current sheet, the polar magnetic fields of the sun, and the exceptional electrostatic force and gravity of the sun means it's going to attract more than any. And also, it is not the lone factor in turning the sun black. The reason why enough dust is able to accumulate in the first place is because we hit the magnetic null point, the actual galactic magnetic reversal point within the current sheet. This shorts out a lot of the electrical activity in the photosphere and chromosphere, meaning that the solar wind basically short circuits and the luminosity processes short circuit. And so while the luminosity processes are short circuiting, dimming the sun a little bit, the lack of solar wind outflow allows the dust and other material to aggregate. So you kind of have a 1-2 punch in terms of the dimming of the sun during that magnetic null point. I hope that answered your question. Any thoughts on Beatrice Villarroel EXO probe project researching potential non-human satellite grid? Never even heard of it, so no, I have zero thoughts on that. Friend got bit by a gay guy. Is he going to turn? Yes, in 9 seconds. Fucking weird shit, man. Could the galactic dust sheet be responsible for mud floods? Probably not, but that's an interesting question. I do believe mud floods are a real thing, but I don't exactly know how they happen. I don't think anybody really does. Thank you, Ben. Well, you're welcome, Lee. Much appreciated. Do I have the last position of the poles or how far it is from the 45-degree point? Okay, so first of all, the 45-degree point means nothing. Are you thinking about some like tipping point, no, that's not real. Completely not real. I think that a good guess for the previous polls would be the Dragon's Triangle and the Bermuda Triangle. I think that's a fantastic guess. Ben, do you believe in manifestation? A little bit. I don't know if I'm going to get into that right now, but scrolling. What do you think about getting a protection dog for the pole flip? And if it's a good idea, when would be a good time to get one? Maybe 2030, 2035. I don't know what you mean by a protection dog. Here's the thing, Democry. What if that's the perfect time to get it for the pole flip, but the sun takes out power in 2028? You're not going to be able to. I mean, unless you find a dog out there. I understand your question, but there's no way to know. Undercover Bird, thank you for that. Appreciate it. Do you think Elon, Zuck, and Bezos will emerge with technology and become the new gods? No, Zuck is going to die because they sent his dumbass to Hawaii. I think Elon and Bezos have a good chance of surviving. Yeah. Did I scroll too far again? Yes, Jess, thank you for that teal pair. I love it. I love it. What's my thoughts on Nan Madol? I have no idea who that is. World in Peril on sale or for sale on Amazon for $250 to $350. Somebody's asking if that's too much. Yes, especially when the PDF is free on the internet. If you find a dog, be sure to have it spayed or neutered. What? No. No there, Mr. Hebrew writing. What are the most telling signs of a pole shift? Which signs will you look for definitively? I don't know. Can't be Flegry going off. A major solar EMP event, which shouldn't be happening based on the solar flare or the solar wind information. A drastic uptick in airline incidents, more than what we already had. A drastic uptick in satellite problems. I would say those are probably the. I mean, nothing's subtle. Okay, I mean, it's not going to be subtle. It's not going to be something that's going to slip under the radar. Okay, what am I missing here? Scrolling. The ancients built massive megalithic walls. What were they keeping out? Dinosaurs? You know, that's an interesting one, especially when you look at the Texas rock wall that I happen to think was built by the red-headed giants. It just makes sense to me. I don't understand why you'd need 70-foot tall walls if you aren't trying to keep something out. I think that's an entirely valid question. Whether it's dinosaurs, I don't know, but yeah. And should temperatures high enough to melt sand and turn it into glass during the micronova? How is anything, plants and animals, supposed to survive that? Because it doesn't hit the entire world. It's a very, very small area. That's like saying, oh, a volcano went off when there was fire and lava. How is anything supposed to survive that? Well, maybe if you can understand that, I hope you can understand what I'm attempting to answer your question with. What happens at the subduction zones as far as minor, major movement during an earth tilt? I would say that they're one of the things that help lock the plates relatively in place. There's going to be some banging around, but it's not like the world is going to completely reorganize. There's no evidence for that, and there's no reason to suggest that would happen. I think that they actually, I mean, obviously there's going to be massive quaking worldwide, but I think that the subduction zones are actually going to kind of act like anchors a little bit for the plates. On atmospheric conditions affecting the spirit and the soul. I don't know about that. That's pushing it. That's pushing it. Atmospheric conditions affecting your body, sure. Electromagnetic radiation, ionizing radiation impacting your body, space weather events, cosmic rays, magnetic field changes affecting your body, sure. Affecting your spirit and your soul, that might be pushing it. I think that one, luckily, is completely up to you. Man, some of you write the most ridiculous stuff about this. What do you tell kids about the future? I don't say a damn word. Absolutely not. Ben, do you believe the National Guard being deployed throughout the U.S. is them positioning troops for the pole shift? No, that's not. The pole shift's not happening for several years. The deployment of the National Guard throughout the United States is because this place is a fucking shit show, and it has been for the last 15, 20 years. This needs to happen. Clean this shit up. People who don't belong here, get the fuck out of my country. And they may be useful if there is some kind of a civil clash. It's always fun to see who came late. What about this Atlas comet heading towards us that you talked about 20 minutes ago already? It's a fucking comet. Ben, what do I think of the Admiral Byrd story? I think he lied. He definitely lied about when he did it, because during the time when his book claims he was doing it, he was unquestionably with Major White at Project Nanook up in the Arctic. So he lied about at least one thing, and maybe more. Hey, Ben, is it true that most tropical glaciers are caused by Milankovitch cycle? No, and not pole shift. First of all, those two things go hand in hand. Also, the Milankovitch, like the existence of a cycle doesn't do anything. They're there from the glacial cycle. I believe all the talk about the rapture being at the end of September is predictive programming for a false flag site. First of all, I don't even know what all the talk. If this is the first I'm hearing about it, there ain't that many people talking about it. And I'm pretty sure the rapture is not going to be at the end of September. Once my home is set up, I'm selling my car to get a horse and buggy. That's funny. But are you really? But are you really? Jeff Grimes, what's up, buddy? Thank you for that. Guys, what kind of questions we got? You understand the poles flipping, but the earth tipping 90 degrees rapidly is a big pill to swallow. Then go ahead and explain the evidence some other way. Don't just say stuff like that. Try to explain it using some other event. Go ahead. Useless chatter is what that is. Useless. Low intelligence. Will Cracker Barrel survive the pole shift? Not if they don't bring back that old dude sitting on the rocking chair. Do you think that skin cancer scare proliferation use of sunscreen is a way to subtly prepare people for a weaker magnetic field? No, I think they were trying to make money. What is your documentary release date? Please don't say do your research. Kathleen, I've been mentioning it every morning. It's probably going to be November 15th. I do not believe that they've got the event tickets up for sale yet. And people are still asking about the comet. Another question about the mud flood. Man, there needs to be some kind of a way where if you're not here when I start, you're not allowed to speak. Like if you come in late, you're just not allowed to speak. Can we put transformers on every ley line and create our own magnetic fields? Oh, what a fun little imagination. But no, you can't. That doesn't even make sense. What are they hiding down there in Antarctica? Nothing. Hey, Ben, what is going on in Area 51? Oh, yeah, because I have super secret clearance. The fuck? I can't tell if some of you are trolling or you're like dumb, like real dumb. How deep do cosmic rays penetrate the oceans? What kind of cosmic rays? There are some cosmic rays that break out into cascades the moment they hit the top of the sky. There are others that pass through the entire Earth without hitting a proton or an electron. So which ones are you talking about? Okay. If extreme radiation will cause new animal species to arise, will it also cause a new enhanced human species? Probably not all that different. Okay, we see a lot of the bones from the humans that were around in the past couple of cycles. We ain't that different. Okay. And also, how can this be what's in your head right now? Shouldn't like you guys be thinking more about preparing, not whether or not you're going to become Superman? You're not. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. I belong on a fairy prairie. Oh, that's you. Yes, you do. Democracy says, oh, yeah, and thanks for making the movie release before Thanksgiving. Now I can make my family watch it when I visit. It won't be out publicly at that time. It's just the premiere night at the ranch. You're going to get to see, people who are there are going to get to see it a little bit before anybody else gets to see it. What are my thoughts on Douglas Vote's version of the event? He's wrong. His safe locations are very, very wrong. His lack of mentioning crustal displacement. No, he just says the planet Earth just stops and goes back the other way. Something that physics, math, impossible. The Earth wants to tilt its crust right now. It wanted to do it yesterday. It's just that the crust and mantle are a little locked together right now. If they weren't, the Earth would flip 90 degrees in less than 24 hours right now if you could unlock the crust. That's coming when the micronova hits the planet. Doug, his contribution of merit was the nova level isotopes, proving that the sun does nova. And unfortunately, that is kind of where it ends. Jess, thank you again. Appreciate that quite a bit. Breaking news, Cracker Barrel heard Ben Davidson and brought back the OG logo. That'd be fun. They are bringing the OG logo. But two of you people in a row said that they're bringing the OG logo back? No way. Are they really going to do that? Are they going to bring back the cute little store and all the knickknacks you could buy that made my kids go absolutely berserk? When the micronova hits, what will be the most dangerous part of it for people? I know the list is long, but what will be worst? Thank you. It depends where you are. If you're directly under the sun when the micronova hits, you're probably going to get the cosmic thunderbolt, and you're not going to be around to tell anybody what you saw. When it starts raining glass, that's not going to be good either. When it unlocks the crust and causes the earth tilt and all the great tsunamis, that's not going to be so great. I don't even really know how to answer that question, Hoverland. Do I buy into the Big Bang Theory? No, I don't. Yes, Cracker Barrel has renewed on their new design. Really? Wow. Yes, Jason Boyd. Raining glass. Doug Vogt got that part right too. Is remote viewing? How would I know if remote viewing is real? How in the world would I know that? How safe is the Pacific Northwest? Are you kidding me? Ben, did you get my DM on X? I don't know. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. How would I know that? Oh, thank God Paul Arenas jumped in to demand we all understand that remote viewing is 100% real. You've swayed all of us. What do I think about Crestone? You are not really that good at this. Okay, well, you can leave then. Cracker Barrel said Tuesday that after listening to its customers, it will scrap its new logo and keep the old timer in its place. Well, that's a start, I suppose. Good for them. Thanks for the clarification. Also, what are your thoughts on mountain towns in Lebanon at around 4,600 feet? Is the slosh of the Mediterranean a risk? 4,600 feet's not bad. You're big. I would say in Lebanon, you definitely need to have underground shelter, though. And if the sun turns red, get in the underground shelter and don't come out until everything starts shaking. Do you know of any ancient sites aligned with the solstice and equinox from the previous cycle when Antarctica was at the equator? No, I don't. I have also never looked into anything like that. It does. That's not something that actually interests me at all. Adventure Hawk, what's up, buddy? You want to plug the Facebook group? Monica, thank you for the teal pair. Shy step propriety. That's an interesting name. Thank you for your support. I appreciate that. Ben, have you ever looked into or come across the Zeta talks about the shift in safe spaces? No. Well, I know what they are. I don't think that there's anything legitimate about them. And I'm pretty sure that the Zeta talks are what caused Nancy Leader to drown her dogs in that lake. That's the only Zeta talk you're going to get from me. Are there any premier perks for the 1,000+ donors? And do you have semi parking or do I need to bring the camper? I do have semi parking. Are there premier perks for the 1,000+ donors? Yes, you get to come to the opening night. You do not need to buy a ticket. If you want to stay at the ranch, you do need to call the ranch and set that up somehow. But if you just have your semi, we absolutely can accommodate a semi. We've done it. How screwed is Western Canada? Not as screwed as Eastern Canada. How safe is it under my bed in Denver? Under your bed, above your bed, next to your bed, a mile away from your bed. If you're in Denver, you're fucked. But I think you probably know that, Joey. How much colder do you think it will be in the new Valley of the Sun? 10 to 20 degrees. Shorter growing seasons? Yeah, probably. What about Chicago? Jesus, are you kidding me? Everyone's going to eat each other. Every big city is a death trap. Get out. I think I subbed her for a bit of entertainment. Oh my God, you talking about Nancy? I hope not. Grand, thank you for that teal pair. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. By the way, we're not going to go a full hour this evening. I mean, praise Jesus, we've made it 39 minutes here and they haven't kicked me off yet. But there's a thing or two I've got to do. I came across something just before we went live and I need to review it before I go to sleep so I can put it in the morning news appropriately. Anyway, I think using coal is a great idea. I agree, actually. Coal is fantastic. Jeff Grimes, Flying Teal Pair, Undercover Bird. Yes. Overcomer. Look at that. Teal Pair riding a firecracker. All right, you win, Overcomer. You win. You win. What do I think about the current sun cycle? Also, is it coming to an end? And if so, what would that mean? It's like saying, I bought pasta and spaghetti sauce, and I'm starting to boil water. You mentioned something about pasta for dinner tonight. What does this mean? Kaiser. Sent a DM from Pinup Prepper RE, Russia's dead hand. I maybe. I don't know. I'll go look and see. I will go look and see. How certain are you about the time frame you think the event will happen? You mean the window I have, 2035 to 2050? I'm pretty sure about that. Where will the new tropics be after the disaster? Rather than describe it, please do your homework. It's right down there. And if you actually do the homework, you will get to watch the Earth after the 90-degree tilt rotating as it's going to. For the love of God, do the homework. I made it so easy. It's 20 fucking minutes, and it's going to answer your next 10,000 questions about the disaster cycle. I don't know what, like, the amount of time some of you have sat here and been typing stuff, you could have watched the disaster homework twice in just how long we've been on this live stream. Twice. You could have watched the disaster homework. Oy, 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 oy. Jeremy Single Knuckles asking how I'm going to build underground shelters to withstand earthquakes at the magnitude I'm talking about. Really, what magnitude am I talking about? Did you hear me mention a number? Man. Are like half of y'all high right now? Is that what's happening? Because I gotta say, like, that there's been the usual intelligence that I can spot here. There's been a lot more stupid than normal. Hoistmaster, you say one more nice thing about Stephen Burns, I'm gonna block your fucking ass from this channel. Complete fraud. Anyway. Goodness gracious. John David, I'm blocking you for that one. Goodbye. Gross. Thanks for plugging the Facebook group. Yes, it is Space Weather News Global. If you are on Facebook, you should be on Twitter and following me there, but I understand if you are just a meta beta. Yeah, I'm making fun of you for being on Facebook. Yeah, bud. I hear you on that. Susie, you are quite welcome. You planted potatoes today. Ooh, that sounds nice. Do you suppose people that didn't go underground survived last time? Probably not as many of them as would have survived. I showed a coworker your page today, and she's a fan now. Fantastic. Hopefully, she returns the favor of something useful. Venture Hawk, thank you for that teal pair. Katie Light, thank you for that teal pair. Feeling like we're going to be coming to the end of it. Tina, you're not trying to bug me. It's all good. It's all good. All right. Cool. Blast in the CME on Noah. First of all, that's not a halo, Adam. It went off to the side. All right, guys. That's about it. Things are getting a little out of control in the chats. In fact, it's hard to keep track of all of that. What's the point of saying not down with the twit? Okay, so you're not on Twitter? I don't give a fuck. Why waste time typing this? Jesus. How far below ground do we need to be to avoid the... How do we avoid the tsunamis? Be out of the tsunami zone. There we go. Stefan should go back to the man bun persona. Oh, gross. I like him even less now. You're very welcome, Lee. Appreciate that. Wilma Teach, thank you for that teal pair. All right, guys. I appreciate everything. This was well, it didn't quite start and end the exact same way, but it was fun. It was fun. All right, guys. I will see you in the morning for the daily show. And no, I'm never going to Rumble. It sucks. Worse than Denver. Be safe, everyone.